Yo guys, welcome to another video. I hope you're all doing well. Today's video is going to be a little bit different. So basically I need to make a mod, or I want to make a mod, and I thought maybe I'd make a video about it. Not sure if everyone's familiar with the process of making mods for Civ 5. And yeah, I've not really made a video like this before, so we'll see how it goes. So my problem is this: my videos get demonetized very often, my Civ 5 videos, as you can see from this lovely symbol here. And the reason for this is because of the music in Civ. So there's sort of two types of music in Civ. There's the music that plays when, for each civilization, like the music that is associated with that Civ, the sort of theme tune. You've got a peace and a war one. And then there's the general background music, which is, it plays for all the civs and it's kind of shared across them. And that's split into, like, there's Europe background music, Asia background music, Africa, and Middle East, I think. So all of the civilizations from those places share the same kind of generic background music that plays after. And it's those background music songs that are copyrighted and get claimed. It's pretty annoying. I tried to remove some of the songs, but it seems like more and more of them get tagged as copyrighted, so I feel like maybe they're just all, like, they're all made by different musicians who could claim them at any point. Sometimes videos get blocked as well, which is obviously even more annoying, so I'm a bit done with trying to do that. I'm just going to get rid of it. I'm actually not that keen on that music anyway. I feel like it's alright, but none of those songs really, like, are that good, I don't think. But the leader music is all good, luckily, and I feel like the leader music is all good stuff as well. So my plan is I want to try and, at least for now, set the leader music as the background music, so it will just automatically loop through all the other leaders as you're playing. And I believe it is possible from the research that I have done. And then, assuming that that works, plan will then be to probably add some other music in as well. For example, there's pretty good music in Civ 3 that I often play on my videos that I like. So, as I said, I looked into it and I found this lovely post from Luigi back in 2013. Not many people have really done that much with modding music though. So I couldn't really find any mods that have been done before with this also. So maybe it'll be useful for other people as well. Okay, so I'm gonna just go through this so we're all on the same page. Assumes you've got some basic modding knowledge. I will try and fill you guys in if you don't as we go along. You'll need ModBuddy. That is the mod creator that you use in Civ 5 that anyone uses to make mods, including Vox Populi. Is basically a very sort of big ModBuddy mod, or it's actually multiple mods, isn't it? Yes, a lot of music. So as we're saying, there's all of these background tracks. You know, we don't necessarily have to replace with the same amount, but we do want to have a good amount of songs, so it's not just playing the same thing over and over again. It's kind of saying here there's songs that are for either, songs that are for peace, and songs that are for war. We will come to that. It's a good reason of having the music in Civ as well, because it will play different music depending on the state of the game. And okay, this is getting into the technical details of it. And I actually completely missed this, which is important. So I'm glad that I reread this, because I would have forgotten to do this. And I've not used this before. Okay, so this is talking about changing the XML. This is an XML code entry here that we're going to put into our mod. XML is used to update the game database that Civ uses. So what that means is that the database has all the tables containing like most of the information that the game kind of needs to know. Things like how much does a building cost, how many yields does it give once you've built it, how strong is a unit, and it will also have references. So like a unit would probably have a reference to like an icon of the thing that, so that's the thing that you actually see in the game when you're looking at that unit. All of that stuff is in the database. XML is used to sort of bulk update the database. So this is the database, this is the table in the database, and then we're adding rows to this database. We're adding rows for audio sounds. So that is what this file is doing. We need to add a sound ID, so that's an ID that we give it. We need to reference a file name. So what this means is a music file, so like an MP3 file that has the actual music in it. You're referencing the name of that file, and you're telling it, you know, that it's an in-game sound with this ID. That's, I guess, something that needs to know. I don't know what that means. Hopefully that's not something we need to think about. We just need to add that as a row. So this is if we want to add like a new sound, which is not relevant right now, maybe relevant later, but we still need to understand how the sounds exist in Civ. Because the next step is the audio 2D scripts or audio 2D sounds table. So this is a different table in the database. We're going to be adding rows here, and these rows we're going to reference the sounds that we created here, the sound IDs. And we're going to be creating a script ID. So this is an ID that we give it. And all of these, so volume, sound type, game music. This seems like stuff that it will just always be this, and then maybe we'll have to adjust the volume depending on the song. But these seem to be, 40 seems to be the one here. But we're going to be referencing the sounds and giving it a script ID. Okay, and the reason that we're doing that is because when it's looking for the background music that it's going to play, it's going to look for certain script IDs to play with certain civs. So it's saying the last change we need to make here is update the soundtrack tag of the civilization. So again, this is another XML thing. This is all the information that is put in for a civilization. So this is the Incans, it's got all this stuff, and then the last line is a soundtrack tag. And it's saying we need to update this soundtrack tag to tell it which scripts should be part of its background music. The thing with the soundtrack tag is that it uses the script IDs automatically, deciding whatever is after song and before _war_peace. So if the soundtrack tag is custom, capitals don't matter, then it's going to look for anything song _custom _war when you're at war, or song _custom _peace when you're at peace. So that's why it's important that we create these script IDs. We're going to give them all the same sort of soundtrack tag in their name, and then when we add that soundtrack tag to the civ, then it's going to know that that's the background music that we want. Okay, that, you know, maybe that was over explanation, but otherwise it's probably not going to make sense the changes that we're making in future. So, with that said, I have created a plan of what I want to do. So I want to add the leader songs as script IDs. What does that mean? So the leader songs are already in the game as sounds, they have to be, and they're already in the game as script IDs as well, but they're script IDs sort of designed to be played with just a certain sieve. So we want to give them some sort of script ID like this, for example, that we can then add as the soundtrack tag for maybe all of the sieves. We can add the same soundtrack tag and have all of the leader music as the background music. So yeah, first thing, add in all the leader songs or script IDs, update the soundtrack tags. We'll do it for all sieves first, then we can potentially try having different, background soundtracks for different sieves, like maybe we'll split them in half or something, have half the songs as part of one background soundtrack and then half the songs as part of a different one. If we can get this far, we can add some new songs in that we can add to the soundtrack. So that would involve what we started with this adding sounds into the game. If we can add some new sounds and add them to the soundtracks, and obviously make sure all the volume and quality of all the songs is good as well. So that is the plan. First thing I'm going to do here is sort of just check check to make sure that we've understood this properly. So have we understood this whole process of adding music for sieves correctly? So this is just the base game files. I'm going to look in sounds, XML, and okay, so the first thing we can look at is the audio defines. These are all of the sounds, so this is the first step when you're adding a sound where you're referencing a file, you're creating a sound ID. So this is the Alexander Peace theme tune, Alexander War theme tune. These are their sound IDs. As they've been added into the game. These are the script IDs that are then created out of all of these sounds. Let's find the peace and war. This. Yep. So it's added as a script ID with this name. Now these script IDs are not relevant for the background music. I think it's basically it kind of is done from the name. So Alexander will play this music as his peace theme tune and this music as his war theme tune. And if it was a civ, like a different leader, will have just a different name here, and it will know that those are the tunes from the script name. But then we have, so Greece then has its background tunes, which are the scripts IDs, and they're made from the sound IDs of this is the generic music that's been loaded in as sounds. So this is there's Europe music, Europe peace music, and it's adding in a script for each one, named song, Greece peace. Can go down There's the Either music as well, is also listed as a script with peace. Now we have the war music, which is the Europe war music, plus the Europe Either music. So that is as we expect it to be. The last thing we want to check here is the civilizations. So let's actually go to Greece. Let's keep it. We're looking at 1. So there is no soundtrack tag put in here. Which is interesting. That's the thing we're expecting to see at the bottom here. So that either means the soundtrack tag is put in somewhere else, or there is no soundtrack tag for Greece, and it just automatically uses the name Greece to search through all of these tunes and say, okay, just assume that Greece is the soundtrack tag since we are Greece. There's one more thing we can do to sense check this, and that is using the game database. So the game database. So these are the assets that are in they're in your sort of Steam folder where your game is installed. The game database. So each time you load Civ, I'm not sure if I had to turn on a debug option or something for this, or if this is always here, but this is in my game. Like, this is where Civ save files and stuff are stored in documents. And then we can take this, put it here, and now we have access to the game database. I mean, it's not like live, it's a copy of it, so we can't change anything, but like we can look through it. I'm using SQL, like it's an SQL database, so you can use a bunch of different things. This is just a plugin you can get on Google Chrome. I found this quite easy to use. I just dragged it on here. So we were just looking at civilizations. So civilizations is going to be in the civilizations table, most likely. These are all the tables listed here. Damn, there's a lot of civilizations tables. Okay, there was one just called civilizations. Next thing, this is SQL. SQL is a language that you use for querying an SQL database. Basically, it's quite simple to learn, actually. You know, if you need it, you can definitely like learn it online. What this means is we want to see everything. So select is like just how you start an SQL query, where you're wanting to see stuff in the data in an SQL database. This is saying I want to see all of the columns from this table. Limit 10 would mean only show me the first 10 rows. We don't need that. So we just ran that query. It's returned us the civilization table, all the columns in it, and all of the rows as well. So yeah, okay, we can click here to go to the next rows. That's more than 10, so okay, let's keep looking at Greece. So this is the row for Greece. We can see all this stuff. This is the soundtrack tag, and there's nothing in it. So seems there's not a soundtrack tag being added anywhere else. There's no soundtrack tag, so it's obviously just assuming that the soundtrack tag is Greece. Actually, interesting thing here, we've got the Dawn of Man audio, so this is what plays like at the start of the game. and I'm guessing that will have been added as a script under this name from a sound. You get the idea, right? Okay, while we're here, let's look at the audio stuff, see what we can see. So we have audio sounds. Audio sounds. Yeah, okay, there's going to be a lot. But yeah, we've got all these audio sounds. Audio 2D sounds. Capitals don't actually matter. Doing the table name, and now we have all these script IDs linked to the sound IDs. Okay, awesome. It's great that we can see this stuff here, because this is going to make debugging what we're doing a lot easier, since we'll be able to make sure that it's in the database. As we make a change to the database, we'll be able to check the database, make sure that what we want to be in there is in there. So I'm very happy about that. We're going to use this a lot as we go along, just to make sure that each step of what we're doing has worked, so that we don't get confused if it and when it breaks, and we have to try and figure out which step it broke on. Also, in the interest of transparency, when I was searching for these things, I used a thing called Notepad++, because I wanted to find everywhere where the soundtrack tag was mentioned. So Notepad++ is quite cool. You can do this thing called find in files. So it searched through every single file within this folder, that the Civilization Assets folder, and checked for anything with soundtrack tag in it, and showed me all of the places. And it wasn't that many, so I kind of knew that it was going to have this thing where yeah, I don't want to do this. It did take a while. Just do it. So yeah, it's really not actually used in that many places. It's basically used in Polynesia to give them the soundtrack tag of Aztec, which means I guess Polynesia just uses the Aztec music for some reason. I don't know if that even applies in the game or it's just in some scenario expansion anyway. I guess we could actually check it. Civilizations. Do you know what? We'll go advanced here. When you're doing SQL, you can search by using a where. So if we do search where type, so type column equals civilization Polynesia. That has worked. Boom. Soundtrack tag Aztecs. The more you know, eh? I don't really get that though. Shouldn't they be like Asian? I don't know. I'm not. Ignore that. If that was wrong, ignore that. Cool. I think we can start modding now. I think we're clear on what we're trying to do. We know how to test it. So this is how you do mods. We are coming into Steam, and on our library we've changed it from just games to tools, and you can come down here. We're going to use this thing called Civilization 5 SDK, which is different from Civilization 5. I actually tried to install this on a laptop yesterday. Did succeed in the end, but it was a little bit tricky. So Yes, maybe I'll try and make a forum about it. Basically, you need to install Visual Studio like 2010 and some stuff, but because it's long ago, Visual Studio is like a thing for coding that was released. It's like a Microsoft thing, so it's legit. But all of their old downloads, they've sort of basically stopped supporting them, and it downloaded in a really like weird format, so it was a bit of a nightmare trying to get them to actually run, because I don't know like stuff about computers in that way. I was kind of just guessing, but did get it done in the end, and I had this installed on my PC a while ago, so it still works, which is nice. Okay, this is the mod buddy interface. Let's click new mod. We'll do an empty mod. I'm just going to call it music mod. Okay, title. Yeah, we can change this later. And we'll see later what those things actually mean when we test out the mod. Okay, begin. Oh, no, this wasn't right. Oh, this is showing the mods that I've made previously and like released on the Steam Workshop, I think. That was my hotkey mod. Anyways, first thing, so we need to add some files and stuff in here. I guess I could add a folder. Do I need a folder? Nah, I don't think I need a folder. Let's just add an actual file. We want an XML file. Okay, and it's created this for us. So we insert the stuff that we want to change in here, in between these game data tags. So it's sort of game data start, game data end. It's kind of the way that I look at it. Let's go back to this. So this is what we need to be adding in, basically. As in, the first thing we're going to be doing is adding in the leader songs, which are already there as sounds. We need to add them in as scripts. So that's this. We don't want these dots. And let's start off with something quite basic. So let's just have one of each. We can copy in some more later. We'll have custom piece 1 and custom war 1. And the sound ID, we want to find the sound ID of, we want to use some leader theme tune here. So let's find their sound IDs. I'm not going to use Grease. I'm going to use Grease as our, we're going to test with Grease. So let's use Askia theme tune. So Askia piece music has this sound ID. Let's copy this. Put it there. Askia war music has this. Let's put it there. Okay. That should work. Let's rename this to script updates. I mean, okay, we'll see, we'll do. Okay, that is what we want. The next thing we need to do is go to the mod properties. Okay, we will probably need to do associations at some point. Now we need to do an action. This is the thing that I was saying I had kind of missed when I was reading this the first time. Set your mod to reload audio system in the actions tab at your mod properties. On mod activated. Okay. I don't see that. Yeah, okay. There is no such thing. Well, this is what I would normally use and have used in the past. It's very possible that that guide is a bit out of date because it is 10 years old. So the way that you normally do it is on mod activated. So, when the mod is activated, update the database and basically use the code in this file to update the database. We need it to do that. So we've added in that action. Type. Interesting. Okay. Okay. Don't know if we need that for adding music later. This should honestly be enough, at least for what we're trying to do. So the next thing we do for just testing to make sure that this actually works. The next thing we need to do is build it. It comes down here. It's been built and it's set to build it into our mods folder. Mods folder is found similar place to where the game database was. These are all the mods that we already had, and then we should see music mod v1. Okay, time to test it out in Civ and make sure that it has somewhat worked. So apologies about the volume if it is a bit much. I think I turned it up because I wanted to. I was basically testing out another mod that I'm going to use to help. So I'm going to deactivate a bunch of mods here because I don't want something to not work because I have Vox Populi running. So this shouldn't affect anything, this shouldn't affect anything. This is the music changer mod that I was talking about that I wanted to potentially use. We'll use it later when we're actually testing to see if the adding all the music has worked. It gives us a button where we can switch song. Okay, deactivate Vox Populi. Again, I don't want something to go wrong because of that. I can figure out making it work with Vox Populi later. Let's just make it work. Okay, now technically, as I forget to change the thing back, the game database has already updated, I believe. We can check the time. That is the time, believe it or not. So, okay. Let's check and make sure that this has worked. So we were adding to audio 2D sounds. Audio 2D sounds. Okay. That has worked, but I'm scared because there's nothing else in there, so I feel like I've probably bugged out the entire of the sound within the game. But I'm a little bit like... how has that not been happening before? Because... yeah, okay. I'm going to look into this a little bit more. I'm pretty sure there was a bunch of stuff in this table before, right? And we definitely need more script IDs than this. So if we've overwritten the whole table, then that's not what we want. It's not what we need. Okay, I've done a bunch more investigations here. What I found was basically there was just nothing in this table when I wasn't in Vox Populi. So I was like, okay, is it Vox Populi only that this table even gets updated or something? And then I found that actually everything in here was scripts for great musicians and great writers and stuff. So I copied one of these script IDs into Notepad++, and I searched it in the Vox Populi files because I knew it must be in the mods folder, sorry, because I knew it must be that it was added in one of the Vox Populi ones. I found this file where it was added, and it's actually an SQL file, which is a different way of updating the database. So you can do the sort of bulk uploads using XML, but you can also use SQL. So you can do the same stuff, but you do it just by writing a different thing, and it's in a .SQL file instead of a .xml file. So this is inserting sounds, and then this is inserting audio 2D sounds, or scripts as we are calling them. So basically I feel like the XML can work, but it will be harder to test. Well, the XML will probably work, but we won't actually see it in this database unless we use SQL, it seems. So I think I'm just going to use SQL. I've had this before when I made mods, that sometimes some things are easier to do in SQL, some are easier to do in XML. And in this case, it feels like doing it with SQL should work. So also sometimes you have to use one of them. I don't understand why, as I don't know quite enough about exactly how Civ works. But in the past, I've just had to use one or the other for different things, even though I think they're supposed to be interchangeable. But yeah, I think I will do it in SQL for now, just so that we can check that it's in there, and then we can sort of move on and maybe come back to it later. Okay, so this is the syntax words that we need to use, sort of. Okay, so I'm gonna copy this whole bit because I think we need this semicolon at the end as well. Let's create a new add SQL update scripts.sql. Okay, and insert SQL rules here. Boom, insert into audio 2D sounds. Let's get rid of all of these. We'll leave like 2 in there. Okay, so insert into this table these columns, these values. That's how this works. So this is 2 separate rows being inserted. But we want different columns. So we want the script ID, we want the sound ID, yep. Then we want sound type, that's already in there. Min volume, max volume is music. Min volume, max volume is music. It's giving me a red thing there. I'm hoping that's because it... Why was that not saved? I hope that doesn't mean that it didn't actually do that. I don't think it does mean that. Okay, so min volume. I'm slightly concerned about whether I should be using quotes here. So a quote is for a string, whereas it's very plausible that these are supposed to be integers. Come back to it. Is music true? Again, this could well be that it's supposed to be without that. Also, I got rid of the sound type. Game music. See what I mean? That sometimes you don't actually put the quotes on. Sometimes you do. And it's going to depend on the type of the table. Which I hope is going to be in here. So this is the schema for the audio scripts table. Data type int. That means we're not going to want the quotes. And then is music. Sorry, that was here. Is music. B is music. Where is it? Why is it saying it's that when it's not that? Like, if we go back to the Greece one, it is Bia's music. Just flat out had that wrong then. But surely I copied it. Let's check it in the database as well. Is music. Okay, maybe it is music. Okay, I'm less happy about this now because I'm unsure. Also, this is not supposed to be like that. You can have the priority, but why is it? I have seen this before where it's just chatting shit. I guess we can try and see. This isn't the right stuff, but we'll do the mod and we'll do it without. I don't think we actually do need to have Vox Populi enabled. We'll do it without, and actually this is not what we want anyway. I need to remake this because I need to add an event on mod activated, update database, this, and we can actually remove this one too. Wait a minute. It was in there. The first time we did it, it worked, right? Then I tried to change it, but I didn't because I thought that I was overwriting the whole thing, but I probably wasn't. Okay, let's just take a step back here. Add on mod activated, update database, this. Remove them. Can I revert this to what it was originally? This shouldn't be here. Okay, build that. Let's check it again without Vox Populi and then check it with and see if it is in there with the other stuff. I think I'm not going mental. I'm pretty sure it was there, right? The first time we did it, it worked. I just didn't realise that it had worked. I thought it put something. Okay. And the stuff was in there before because I had used Vox Populi before. So that's why I was expecting there to be stuff in there, even when I didn't have Vox Populi on. It was only there because of Vox Populi. Now, if I do it without, again, it should just have... It's quite windy here. It should just have this in. Just loaded the mod. This is getting annoying now. Can I do something like this? Audio 2D sounds. Don't fuck me over. Okay, nice. And what is it saying for his music? His music 1. Okay. So it's converted that. It says true in the thing. It's converted it to 1. So there's some stuff going on with the data type there that I don't fully get. And that could actually explain some stuff that I never understood in the past. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay. Now, I did want to try it again with Vox Populi and just see will it still be in there, including all the other stuff. Even though I said I was not gonna check Vox Populi until the end, I kind of feel like I should now. Okay. Did I remember to copy this? No. Audio. Bro. We don't want this. Let's go to last. It's there. Okay. Boom. Boom. Oh my god. Well, it was right the first time. We love that. We love that here. You know, it's very possible I just skipped over that whole thing and it just seems to you guys like it just worked straight away. And it did, but I didn't think it did, so I spent a while scratching my head. Okay, I'm going to call that a win. And we're going to move on to the next one. Well, because, you know, I haven't done it for all, but if we can do it for 2, we can do it for the rest, right? It's just a copy and paste job. Now, update soundtrack tag for all civs. So, this involves some slightly more advanced SQL, I believe, because while we want to insert we want to update, so if we go back to the civilizations table, we need to update the soundtrack tag. First thing I want to check is, are there like, there's 45 civs, so I don't think I'm going to mess something up by updating a minor civ or something. This is all the right civs, so if we want to update the soundtrack for all of them, I think we can just update every row in this table. It's a slightly different syntax to that insert statement that I was looking at before here. It will be some sort of insert into where kind of thing, and different SQL has different slightly different sort of wording to do this, so I'm actually not sure what it is here. I'm gonna do a where. I don't really need to find all, there's going to be a trillion hits, but update custom mod options, set, yeah, so we need to do a set. Update art define. So I think actually it's something like this that we need to do. Because we don't actually need a where, because it's every row. So I think we just need to do an update set. Okay, let's try that. So, yeah, we're not using that, but we'll keep it there for now, just in case we need it for some reason. Update rules. Update sound track tags.sql. It should be simple. Update civilizations. Set. It's called soundtrack tag, right? Soundtrack tag. Yeah. Sound track tag equals custom. We need to come here, we need to add another event, update database, update soundtrack tags, boom. Just recheck this, soundtrack tag equals custom. Okay, build it. Let's test this out. Okay, it's loaded. Let's check it. Boom. Civilizations. Come on. Fuck. Now, it's plausible that it either just obviously just didn't work, or it is possible that it got overwritten by the Vox Populi stuff. So I will remove that, check it again, and there's a couple of other things we can look into as well. But I'm just going to check that it's not that first, because that's just one of them things that will be annoying if it is that. I actually believe it was even stupider than that. Although, I haven't tested it, but the mod was not even activated because you have to reactivate it if you rebuild it. So I'm even, because I don't actually think this should affect it. So I'm gonna actually activate them again. Well, nah, okay, nah, let's not have them, let's just have this. But it may well have actually worked the first time again. If we just, I don't know, kind of had it right. So let's retest this. Boom, 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 civilizations. Okay, let's go. But you know what? I'm feeling a bit bold right now. What I'm gonna do. Freaking. Okay. I'm actually gonna test it out and see if it is working in the game.
You, O great King Alexander.
Okay, so this is what I was saying. This is the Alexander theme tune. Theoretically speaking, when we click this button, we should get the Askia theme tune. This button doesn't always work though. Okay. We're just gonna have to wait for it to finish. See what plays next. Why did I choose Greece, man? This is like the longest song. Just end. Yeah, so this button was from that mod I was talking about, the music skipping mod, so it is a bit, it was always a bit inconsistent when I tested it before as well, to be honest. It's like 10% of the time it works every time kind of button. Alright, that didn't work. Might have figured it out though. Maybe. Remember when it said we needed to reload audio system? I couldn't find it in actions. It's actually here. Very interesting. This does not affect save games. So these are like some of the options you can put with it. Interesting. Reload audio system. I'm also going to add another. Well, firstly I'm going to add this because I was a bit nervous that this was going to stop it. Because I think potentially if there are no priority ones, it can just dip into the non-priority ones. So I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to copy this whole thing and we're going to add in another song and let's have Gandhi's. Gandhi piece. Sound leads to music. Gandhi piece. Sure. Looks good to me. Build it. I mean, is there a civ with a? Who's got like the shortest song? Yeah, fucking 7 minutes. Are you serious? Ashurbanipal, that's pretty short. 3 minutes. We'll play as him. No to you, Greece. Changing this, because that will mean that this... Oh, these settings should stick. I think when you make a change there, it means that... Yeah, the settings stick, so you do not have to create the same game twice. Okay, let's check out this button again. Bros. That is the Askia soundtrack right there. That... Let's go. Alright. I am gonna leave it there. Okay. Let me do this. Boom. That's done. Yeah. I'm gonna come back to it. So, because it's freaking 12:30, I should probably go to bed. We'll do another part of this. That was success though. The general, it worked. The concept worked. We can expand on it now. So, well, I guess we need to add in the rest of the leader songs. That's done. I suppose I'll add in a couple of things here. So, number one, I need to add in the rest of the songs. Number two, this actually worked with Vox Populi, but I need to make sure that it will always work with Vox Populi. And the issue with that is Vox Populi, I'm pretty sure, will have some or many mods potentially. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it's not really possible to make this account for like any mods, because if somebody updates the civilizations table, which I'm sure people do fairly often, I mean, if they overwrite it all, then yeah, it's going to lose the fact that we've added that soundtrack tag. If somebody adds a new civ, it's not going to have the soundtrack tag. So, but that's okay because, they may not want that anyway. The way that Civ does this is you can say that your mod depends on another mod, and that means that that mod must exist. So it's in the properties, associations, right? So this is what I mean. Dependencies are required. We don't have any dependencies, but we need to put in a reference to Vox Populi because we want our mod to be loaded after Vox Populi, so that I'm pretty sure there'll be somewhere in there that the civilizations table is overwritten. I mean, it's possible that it's not, we can check, but maybe someday it will be. So we'll add this as a reference, and that means that it will be activated after. If it's not logs, yeah, okay. If you don't do that, the way it works is it takes the mod that was created the latest or updated the latest, and it will do that one after. So it will do them in the order that they were like created / updated. I mean, every time you build it, it's kind of created new. So I believe it's like in the mod file. So we can look, this is our mod, it's got the files that we put in it, and then it's got this mod info file as an ID. And maybe it's, yeah, maybe it's literally just the date modified in the folder. That it does it in the order of that. So right now we're good because our mod was made after I downloaded this. But if I was to download a new version of this, these guys would have date modified later than my music mod, and then they would be loaded after. So it's possible that the soundtrack tag update wouldn't work. So I mean, I could just freaking do that right now, but it's okay. We'll do it next time. Give us something to feel good about, you know? So yeah, we're gonna add in the rest of the songs. That will be a copy and paste job. Can maybe even do that in between. Maybe I'll do this too. Then we can potentially split up the soundtracks. I mean, we've got 45 War and Peace songs. So do we want all of them to play for everyone, or do we, I guess we could split them in half or something. Have half of them that play for or, you know, yeah, we can have a think about that. Add in other songs to the soundtrack. So this will be a bit more interesting. We want to add in, I definitely want to add in, I have some Civ 3 songs that I use quite often. A lot of the Civ 3 songs are really good, actually. We can add some of them in. There's some other copyright-free music you can get on YouTube. Maybe I'll have a look through it and see if there's any nice ones. Rome Total War music. Tempting. Tempting. We can add it to the Rome script for sure. And I don't know if there's any good stuff in Civ 4 as well. So yeah, we can try adding the song. That will be a bit new as well, and we'll have to make sure that the volume and all that is decent when we add that new song. Yeah, the volume seems decent. It's a little quieter, so the leader songs, when they're called for that leader, are set at volume 50, and all the background songs are set at volume 40 generally. This is probably okay though. I feel like that's fine. Like, your song plays louder than the generic songs of the other civs, but when we add music, it might not be the same sort of volume level. I know the Civ 3 songs are generally quieter, so we might need to bump up the volume a bit on them to get them heard properly. Yeah, but yeah, we'll handle that for sure. Oh man, friggin' nice when stuff works. It's kind of funny because probably could have had this done in like freaking 15 minutes if I had literally just done what I thought would work and then skipped straight to just trying it out. It would have worked straight away. But I thought this time, let me be safe and like make sure that each bit that I'm doing works. And it was me trying to test things out. Freaking whatever. You should test stuff as you go, generally. 9 times out of 10, it doesn't work first time. This actually would have though, I think. Funnily enough. Okay. Yeah. I'll leave it though. I hope that was interesting. If you have questions, reach out, leave a comment, join the Discord as well. It's a great place to ask questions, and the forum also. Lots of very helpful people if you're interested in making your own mods. Yeah, or just getting involved. However, we'll continue and finish this off in another part, and I will be back with a new series of Civ fairly soon. The Inuit one is still going currently, but yeah, I think the next one should be exciting. I do know who I'm going to play. I'm not going to spoil it, but we'll do it on a live stream, and we'll have this lovely mod working by then, I'm sure. So I look forward to seeing you guys then, and hope everyone has a nice day.